Because I love you all so very much, here's a little update. And the bearers have gone in on the big pod. And the wall is now finished over here, which is great. It's just got to be painted, which is lovely. And yeah, it's bloody massive. It's beautiful. I made a little bit of a fundamental floor and I couldn't work something out and I rushed it. So little piece of advice, sometimes take 24 hours to sleep on things. But anyway, this place evolves and changes as I do, as I always have. So instead of having a sunken lounge now, it will be all at one height, the floor the same as the kitchen pod up here. So yeah, we had to straighten up all the poles and re-brace them and things like that, because of course over the year they have shrunk, the poles, because they were cut and put in green immediately. As you can see, I have the steel posts in the ground that hold all my poles up, and I did this specifically for the Australian bush. We do get a lot of termites here, and a lot of people that bush build have nothing but problems with termites eating them out over the years, no matter what you do to the poles. Like, there's lots of remedies online about how to naturally treat termites, and really doesn't always work. So you have to be so vigilant in the forest when you build like this. But hence mine are all up on steel stirrups that I got especially made for this job. When they first went in, it was a very quick job, and they were put in green and really fast, so I didn't have a chance to debark all of them before they went up, which is usually the right way to go about things. But we sort of didn't really do that because we did it in a hurry, and I'm really grateful that the boys, we had this cut and done and put in within a day, and all the other pods have taken me 3 days per pole, which is cutting them, debarking them, getting them down onto the site, and then putting them up, which was really scary. It was really scary in the first pods because we did it with a bit block and tackles. We didn't do it with a machine. So yeah, you know, that it's certainly comparison to 3-4 days per pole, instead of 1 day for every pole. It was a big stretch from daylight till dusk, I will say, to get all of them in. But that's how it went. So everybody's telling me over the time and over the years I can burnish this off or pick it off or clean it off, or it will just naturally come off. Every time I see strips that are loose, I debark. So, and I'll debark in sections. When we have a floor in here, I'll be able to work on the next section. The bottom sections are basically all but done as debarking, as far as debarking goes. There's still a few more. Oh, sorry, that was a terrible part of that video. I really do have to learn to edit. So yeah, I keep working on it and keep going forward as much as I It's nice to see that wall in now, because on the other side I actually have all of the earth wall insulation. It's already in. This wall over here has actually started. The first board is on, and the first board is on simply for the fact so I could, we do have more here, but so I could silicone it. We've gratefully been getting a little bit of rain, and with that, on the edge of all the boards where the green flashing meets, we've gone around and siliconed the very bottoms and the flashing. So that way no water runs or leaks in the house. Down every single pole there is glued black, I think it's called black sarking, and then down each pole, in between each pole is a fire expander foam. And I'll give you just a little look at that. Please don't mind my messy kitchen right now, because I'm working and living in the same space. Not optimal, but I'm freaking couldn't be more grateful that I actually have a place to live after what happened last year, and my friends and people and work people and family have come together here to help turn this into a kitchen, including front door. So yeah, it's really nice to actually start having walls. The other night I went through and I actually sealed. You probably can't see it too well, but this is a part of what I've been doing. I've missed this top post yet. I've still got to climb up there, but I needed a bit more secure way than just standing on top of a ladder right now. I need to tie the ladder onto the post so I don't fall off it. But yeah, the other night had a little wiggle, had a bit of a groove, and painted all the poles. So this is a pink fireproof expander foam. This is what actually helps with your efficiency in energy, or it's a part of my thing of what I've done for every pod here. And will continue to do so. It seals the pod off, and it helps with the heating and the cooling of the home too, because pole homes are a little bit tricky to seal. So inside all of the cavities next to the poles, there's this expander foam, so we don't actually have wind coming through, wind coming through the place and stuff like that. It is definitely a part of council approval to ensure your place is properly built. So I don't know quite the words for this, but but I'm getting there. I've done all the poles now, sanded all the poles. With this expander foam, you just cut it back to the length that you need it. I don't know if you can see quite here, but right next to this pink foam is all the black sarking. So that just protects it from water, trying to make sure the house is weatherproof as much as possible to protect your timbers so water doesn't get inside the house. Because working with poles is a little bit different, because you have to work with the knobbles and you have to work with them sometimes not being perfectly straight. I'm so impressed with the people I've had working here. It's some of the neatest, cleanest work I've had done, and that's the difference between doing it yourself when you really don't know what you're doing, or working with professionals or people that have a really good know-how, and you're just doing it and you're learning it along the way. So, which is how a lot of these pods have gone. I've worked with some awesome professionals, like my friend Rang, who put up the roofs in the 2 pods, and they are beautiful. He did such great work here with the foundations and making sure everything was set out properly. So yeah, this is fire sheeting board. I've put fire sheeting board in here because this is where a wood fire stove is going. So as you can see down here, the wall boards have started in here. So, and they do a really tricky thing called secret nailing, which is awesome. I've learned something new, and this is a different style than what we've used in the original pod. But every pod that I do, I learn more and more and more about the building process and how to neaten things up. And every time I work with professionals, I certainly learn a lot. So there's something to be said for that. So that's the fire sheeting board. This will have blue mini orb tin on it, like for a backing, and the floor, blue mini orb tin behind the wood fire heater, so the mini orb tin will actually radiate heat back out into the kitchen. Living up here in the mountains, it gets really cold in the winter. So this is a start on one of the kitchen cabinet doors. This is what the pantry, of course, you've all seen the pantry before, but the pantry has blue mini orb all over it, and like wood framing on the outside. What do you guys think? I used the red because I like the red and blue together, and it sort of breaks up the timber. I love these spunky little handles. I've got these kind of handles for all of the kitchen doors. What do you think? Do you think I should paint them all red as well, the outside, or leave them their natural colour? I kind of like the red because we have a lot of timber already in this kitchen. I don't know if you can see my window framing there, but it's also red. So you might get it on a better light here. And so this is my latest update. I'll finish putting in all the wall bats once this other wall is fully up, because right now they want to flop out and fall out and stuff like that. I've gotten away with it on this wall in here because the outside wall is actually on. So yeah, things are coming together more and more. As for the big pod, I forgot to mention, oh yes, there's my beautiful ponies. There's my little ponies there. They're looking good. We've had a little bit of rain, and it's been really nice to have them home every day. And look, they sit outside my door and wait for me every day, neighing and laugh. We have a little bit of a laugh, and I tell them to go away and eat grass. It's not dinner time. They always want me to feed them. No matter whether I feed them breakfast, lunch and dinner, they always want more. Thank goodness we've had a little bit of rain, and enough to make everything starting to green up again now. It's getting really dry, so I've been literally feeding them twice a day, the horses. Here's all the joists. I've been actually working with a local mill in the area. There's not too many left now, so if I can, I try to give my business to people locally as well. I'm building a timber home, and so You know, we want to support local mills. I know this is a big thing about, you know, about using timber, but and logging. But in a lot of ways, if we're going to continue to use timber for our structures, then, you know, we have to have something a lot more sustainable. So these are timbers seconds. These timbers are what are classed as seconds timbers. And, you know, so I don't know. I'm trying to find a happy balance. A lot of things here I buy as recycled materials and chop up and chop down and reuse and recycle. I try as much as I can to do that. And as you can see from all the wood piles that are here, you know, it takes an extreme lot of work. All the timbers that are on here are all recycled timbers apart from the bearers and the floor joists. So yeah, I keep trying really hard to balance out what's new and what's recycled. Recycled really takes 3 times as long to use, because you've got to scrape it, you've got to clean it, you've got to cut it down, you've got to find it, and then you've got to work with it. It's very, very rare that you'll buy timber that will fit straight in with something like these. These are actual outside, my framing for my door is actual outside boards, these wood ones here, which are actually, these boards are, I'm so impressed with. Look at them, they're hardwood timber. And those boards are probably close, well, they're actually over 100 years old that are sitting on the outside of this house. These particular ones right here, these particular hardwoods, oh, that's been out. These particular hardwoods are over 100 years old, you know, so I'm really trying to salvage heritage. And so that's what's on the outside of my door frame here. So they've been scraped back, cut down, cleaned up, made to fit, varnished, and, you know, like I'll plug the screw holes, and then I'll give it another with some wood putty, and then I'll give it another coat. So I really try hard to balance out what is new and what is used in here. Of course, all the wiring is new, you know, because you have to be safe about these things. These mouldings, I'm absolutely in love with these mouldings here. These were a part of the house demolition that we did. These are also probably over 100 years old, and they're actually going to fit on the inside of my door frame. So what I used for the the timber on the outside, you know, came from recycled, the same as this here. And when they're cleaned up, they will look absolutely stunning. And, you know, the sad bit is there's all these materials, the ones that are all on my walls, all on my pantries, everything here. These are over 120 years old. These timbers, and you know what they were going to do with them? They were going to put them in a tip, in a skip bin, demolition, gone. And, you know, these were some of the first, you know, timbers milled in the area of Nudgee, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. You cannot find this timber anymore, and if you do, it costs you an arm and a leg. And these people, developers, were going to chuck it all in the bin, in a skip. So it took a lot of time, took a lot of effort, took a lot of coordination, took a lot of energy, took a lot of friends helping, and we demolitioned the house ourselves, and we salvaged all the timbers. As much as we possibly could, we salvaged. So, and I'm really proud of that fact. I'm really proud of the fact that I have these beautiful old reclaimed timbers back in this house. These doors are just the bomb diggity. There's 2 of them. I'm so in love with them. I'm in the process of working with those and cleaning them up at the moment, and they're going to go into that slot over there. So I'm super, super impressed with those. But back to the timbers, I'm really proud of us. I'm really proud of myself for trying my absolute hardest to salvage history and to reclaim these beautiful timbers that people were just demolitioning, and they're gone. Like, if I didn't salvage them, they would be gone. And and then they want to cut down more trees. So I'm really trying hard to balance out the right thing to do. And quite a few of these timbers in the ceiling, these come off my property. So, and we've had them milled here. I haven't had all timbers milled here, but all the poles are from here. And my kitchen bench here, this is actually the slabs of timber that were off. Don't mind me, I was working outside there this morning with my tools on the bench. But I was working on actually more pole work. I was pole dancing this morning. That was fun and games. I was outside and I was putting strips of sarking in so I can fill it up. This is the last pole to do with the expander foam. But yeah, I do try to balance. I know I'm building a wooden home, but I try to balance out the what I'm actually doing in here, and trying to do it as much as I can in a sustainable way while I build my fairy castle. Oh, there, you can see a bit of a gloss on there now. All right, well, I think that's my update for today. And thanks very much if you've gotten this far. You've done well. Love you all. Love you loads. Thank you to all my friends that have contributed to this, that have been here, that have helped me, that have loved me, that have supported me, that will keep giving me encouragement to do this even when it seems all too hard. And even when I have things I promised myself with this place that I would do it until I can't do it anymore. And I will live by that. I'll work on this place for as long as I can, because I love this place. It's beautiful. It's hard sometimes living in the bush, this romantic notion of living in the forest. And see what I mean? I walk outside and they start neighing at me straight away. Is a very romantic idea, but actually trying to do this is really quite challenging at times, and especially when you don't have a lot of money and you're doing it on a shoestring budget. But that's life. That's life living in the bush. I talked to quite a few people and they're telling me I'm doing quite well for the 13 years. Sometimes I get a little down on myself because I think, I should have gotten so much further than this. And, but I've got to remember that I've built lots of different areas here and had lots of gardens once upon a time, which took a long time. And then I've had family and have children that I have to love and look after and wanted to. And travel. I've always wanted to travel, and I've managed to travel now. And so I've done lots of things, in this 13 years here. I can't even believe it myself. I've been here. The amount I've learnt from the day I stood in here, knowing full well I bit off way more than I could chew. I did it anyway. So, true fairy style. All right, my beautiful people. Well, I love you all. And take care of yourselves, and hopefully I get to see you all soon. Bye for now.